In this video, I'll briefly show you how you can use Reqode together with AI agents to generate project code based on specifications. For the demo, we'll use a simple client-server to-do application with two subsystems, frontend and backend. Reqode comes with built-in MCP servers. Each subsystem has its own MCP server. In future versions, you'll also be able to use separate MCP servers for documentation branches. You can find the access credentials in Settings in the MCP Servers section. There you'll see the list of servers for each subsystem and one common bearer token for all of them. Let's open the subsystem settings and look at their manifests. Manifests store the main details about a subsystem, what tech stack it uses, how files are organized, and so on. In our case, the front end is built with Vue 3 and TypeScript, and the backend uses the Laravel framework. More detailed information about implementation is available in unit types. For each type, you can define its special rules, required libraries, or other specifics. Now let's take a look at the specifications already prepared for this project. We have features described as user stories, data model entities, UI specifications, and API method specifications. By the way, about 80% of these artifacts were created with the help of Reqode's built-in AI assistance. In the Features section, we created 5 modules. Today we'll ask the AI agent to implement 4 of them, leaving out notifications. Each module has a set of user stories, and every story is linked with entity specs, UI specs, and API specs. We've also prepared unit sets in advance, which are available under the Code tab. For each feature, you can see the units that will be generated, along with their file paths. Clicking a unit shows key dependencies, file paths, references to features and specifications that it implements. Unit can link several files, depending on the framework. For example, in Angular, a component can contain up to 4 separate files that are interdependent and can be considered as a single unit. In the Data Model section, we have the entities with their attributes, also linked to units under the Code tab. The same is true for UI and API specifications. In upcoming versions, we will release integration with Figma, which will allow you to use ready-made layouts as UI specifications for coding agents. Now we can open the AI agent and ask it to generate the implementation. For this video, we'll use Cursor with GPT-5. We have 2 cursor windows, one for the front end, one for the back end. Each is already configured with the proper MCP server. For this demo, we prepared empty skeleton projects for both subsystems. In Laravel, we set up the database in environment file so we can run migrations right away and use a database. Let's start. First, we'll give the agents a prompt to implement the authentication module, task management, and the dashboard. The prompts are the same for both subsystems, but for the front end, we'll specify the API address. The agents start by requesting the list of modules via MCP, then they fetch the subsystem manifests and unit type rules. After that, they request detailed specs for each of the 3 modules and begin generating code according to specifications. During testing, we noticed a few things about how it works in Cursor. Other AI agents may behave differently. Firstly, in rare cases, about 1 in 10, the agent may skip requesting details from MCP and start making things up. In that case, just stop it and restart. Secondly, the agent follows naming conventions and unit rules well, but often stops early before implementing everything in the spec. This occurs more frequently when we request the implementation of several modules at once. Sometimes it asks for continue. Sometimes it seems as if he thinks he was only asked to make a rough draft. In that case, you can ask it to review a specific module according to requirements from Reqode and finish the work. Now let's run everything locally to test it. Let's take a look at what's already generated. The process becomes the usual vibe coding style debugging, but with one significant difference. Because we defined a clear unit structure, the agents stick to it. This minimizes unwarranted changes made by the agent. We didn't ask for a fancy UI, so the Cursor with GPT-5 used the basic components of the Vue 3 Element Plus library. It looks a little messy, but in this case, we consider it an advantage, because the agent did not do things his own way, but followed the instructions, including the lack thereof. We'll do a few more small adjustments and then review the implementation and file structure against the one described in Reqode. Let's start with backend. Let's check the routes. Here we have 4 separate routing configuration files created exactly according to the specification. Now let's look at the API method controllers. As you can see, we have 4 controllers for authentication, 1 controller for the dashboard, 4 controllers for tasks, and 1 controller for the profile. Let's check actions. Here's an important point. I made a mistake when describing the actions for tasks in Reqode. Some of the actions in Reqode are located in the task folder, and others in the tasks folder. As you can see, the agent follows unit specs and created actions in different folders. This is a good example of how the agent follows the unit specifications. Let's check enums. Unlike actions, according to Reqode specifications, all enums must be placed in a single folder. Now let's quickly check the front-end implementation. Now let's look at the view components for the authentication module. We have 5 views and 1 modal. Let's open the sign-in view and check its file path. It's correct. The register account view also has the correct path. The change password modal is located in the components folder, so we don't see it in the views folder. Now let's check task management. We have 3 views in Reqode, and the agent implemented the same 3 views. The same goes for stores. We have 5 in Reqode, and all 5 were implemented. In this way, using Reqode for managing project requirements and shaping the overall architecture based on those requirements makes it more predictable to use AI agents for code generation. At the same time, the process of creating specifications, including breaking down on units, also can be automated with the help of Reqode's AI assistants. All of this together greatly improves team efficiency and speeds up software development. Thank you for watching. Visit reqode.com for more information.